From the traditional and unceded territory of the Caledonia First Nation and the heart of northern BC, welcome to the CNC Podcast. 50 years, 100,000 alumni. At CNC, we're learning together, changing lives, and creating futures. Welcome to the CNC Podcast. I'm Mark Cargelotto. One of the great things about CNC is that it's a community. We have learners who are joining us from across the region that CNC serves, which covers about 130,000 people here in North Central British Columbia. But we're also privileged to have people joining us from abroad. Those can include learners, but they also include instructors who are bringing their knowledge forward to help make our region a better place and help our students to thrive. One of those instructors is Dooseon Jung. She is an instructor in the Tourism and Hotel Management program here at the CNC Prince George campus, but her experience in our region and first coming to Canada was living for a time in Burns Lake. And it's a very different experience than that from her life in Korea. And so we're privileged to have her on the CNC Podcast today to tell us more. Dooseon, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell me about life in Korea and then choosing tourism management. How did you land in that? I understand it wasn't the first place you expected to go.
That's right. Yeah. Like many people out there, it was my first option. I need to talk about when I was 22 first. When I was 22 years old, I was majoring in environmental study in my university. And before I graduate my university, I was worried about my future, right? Everybody seemed to relate to that a little bit. Then I took a trip. I was solo trip to Europe, and I traveled Europe by myself for 2 months. And I was frugal. I was a very poor backpacker. So one day I was in Switzerland, and I was looking at the mountain up to top, and everybody taking, mountain train to going up to the top. Mm-hmm. But it was so expensive for me as a student traveler. So I decided I hike up to the top. So I started hiking up to the top, walking up and rest, walking up, rest. Then the whole journey to going up to the top, the day something changed inside me. And I thought, I want to work for this industry. So I changed my major ever since that. So when I come back to Korea, I signed up for the master program for tourism, and that's how I started my tourism journey.
What do you enjoy about it?
Tourism is a very fascinating area. It drives economies, and it preserves culture and histories. And, so it vibrants a small town like this as a tourism industry, brings the people into the town, and it vibrants community. So I really like the fact that this is an awesome area, fascinating area I really want to work for.
So how did you then come to Canada? What was the drive that encouraged you to come here? Because that would be a very long adventure then, I would presume.
Yeah, that is another story I need to tell you, that life is not as we expected. You can relate to that probably. I met my Canadian husband in Korea. I married with him there, and he really want to go back to his hometown. Yeah, he has been living in Korea for 10 years that time. He had a homesick. He misses his family and culture. So me, my husband, I had a little boy. So we decided to move to his hometown, which is Burns Lake. So we moved to Burns Lake 11 years ago.
Now, you were living in Seoul, and then you moved to Burns Lake. So take us through the population difference from Seoul to Burns Lake.
Don't quote me that. I don't know the exact figure.
Okay.
But the metropolitan city of Seoul is about 32 million, I think.
32 million.
And Burns Lake, the population with surrounding area is about 8,000 or 9,000. So there's
it's a big
difference.
Yeah. How
Very
did you
big
adapt
difference.
to that?
I think at the beginning, I really liked the novelty. I never experienced. I never lived in small town before. Small town has their own vibe, right? they welcomed you so well. And, from the day one, you are just part of the community. You belong to the community ever since you introduce yourself to the neighbors and people. People are so nice, so kind, and the nature. We're gonna talk about the beauty of the nature and the quietness and no traffic jam.
That's got to be an advantage.
Oh yeah, it was played a big part in my life, and I just really like the every single novel factor. I experienced first time.
What were some of the first that you experienced here? I guess the quietness, no traffic, but what were the other ones that resonated with you?
Just to welcomes me like they knew me like 20 years. For 20 years, I mean, they were so sweet. Some of the people, I never had that sense of belonging to certain place. Wherever you go, they welcomed you. They wanted to help you out. They really wanted to check that I'm settling there in their town well. That social belonging, that played a really important role to settle in Canada at the beginning, though. Yeah.
Were you able to apply what you had learned in tourism and your master's studies in tourism in Korea to what you were doing in Burns Lake, or did you have to then come to Prince George to do that?
When I was doing my PhD, I had the opportunity to teach few courses. So that was a freshman courses, and I really enjoyed it. Their energy, vibrant, passion. I really enjoyed that experience. So I thought, this is the job I really wanted to end it up at the end. Then I got married and moved to Canada, and small town like Burns Lake, they don't have many opportunity to be a teacher as a post-secondary instructor. So I start my career here in Canada as a recreation director for the municipality for 3 years. Then I saw the job opening at CNC Burns Lake campus as an ABT program instructor. So I
That's
applied
applied
for that.
business technology then.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So the
applied for
administrative
that.
assistant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then while I'm teaching, I saw that, CNC is offering tourism and hotel management program soon. So they were looking for the instructors. So I applied for that job, and thankfully I got in.
And that's here at the Prince George campus
Yes.
then.
Then I moved to Prince George.
Why do you like the program, or what excites you about tourism and hotel management as an instructor, that is?
That's the area I'm really passionate about. I like the fact that I am working for the industry where make the positive impact on people's life. People love traveling. Almost everybody I met, they love traveling and they enjoy doing it. And, making students to be ready in that job market, that thrills me and that satisfies me so much. And seeing them grow and seeing them develop and improve, that also makes me really happy too.
Now, that's been a difficult time, though, over the last couple of years because people have not been able to travel maybe the same way that they have before. So how has that changed the way that you're teaching, or even how you help students to get excited about tourism management?
Yeah. But people are smart, even though, we couldn't travel like before. People developed the technology, and we could get some, taste of different types of experience using your technology, such as virtual reality tours, and the Zoom meeting is really popular, and Metaverse is developing as well. So there's a new way of experiencing tourism, even though it's not same as before. And as a teacher, I had to study a lot as well in order to provide a, quality and adaptive program. So I also studied a lot as a teacher who developed the curriculums and coursework as well.
What do you think was the biggest change or the biggest thing that you needed to focus on through your own studies through the last couple of years of the COVID pandemic?
I recently published an article, in in the tourism journal called Current Issues in Tourism. And I studied about travel risk in pandemic period. So everybody felt differently perceived their risk when they are planning their trip. Even though I feel it's risky, you may think it's not risky at all. So I want to find out those reasons why people feel risky when they are traveling during the pandemic. So I use the interesting methodology and find the reason why, the many different reasons why they decide not to travel or hesitate to travel during the pandemic. And I found, 3 big metaphor, which is uncertainty, distrust, and pandemic new normal, and 15 related constructs based on those 3 big metaphors. Yeah.
What keeps you inspired as an instructor? Why do you like doing this?
The most important thing for my teaching career, I get to see my students for 4 semesters. This is a 2 years program, post-diploma program. So once the students got into the program, I see them from the first semester to the last semester. So I get to see their improvement throughout the semester. It's a beautiful feeling how much they improve personally and also professionally. And as soon as when they are completing their study at the end, I can see they are ready to go to the job market and contribute to the industry. As a teacher, that brings me the most joy and satisfaction.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today, and I'm sure that that students in tourism and hotel and tourism management. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact name there correctly.
That's okay.
They're privileged to have you as an instructor. We're privileged to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.